Secretary, yes. Good morning. Great. Did you not hear that? Start over. All right. This again, or just? Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here on this beautiful, sunny, white day, February 9th. Doing our prayer this morning will be the lovely Marilyn Moore.
And thank you, Rich. Dear God, all powerful and eternal, you've blessed us with friends and laughter and fun, with rain that's soft as the light of the sun. You've blessed us with stars for the brightness each night. You've given us help to know wrong from right. You've given us so much, please, Lord, give us this too, a heart that is always grateful to you. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Past President. All right, Boy Scouts, you keep moving here, just come and eat our breakfast food and drink our orange juice. You come up here and pledge allegiance, President. Oh, Boy Scouts, yeah. One of you can hold this.
Guys, we're right on up to the, over here. You'll show up that road at the end.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming today. All right, we have a very special guest here. Right, I'm not done. Father Joe Whistle is going to lead us in the 4-H house.
Is this working, James?
So,
All right, well, I was going to do this in reverse order, just to see if you were awake this morning. But for the sake of clarity, we should stick with the regular order. The 4-way test are the things we think, say, and do. 1. Is it true? 2.
Is there a law concern?
3.
Will it build goodwill and better directions?
4.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Okay, with all that being said and done, it's now time for our current active president, Patrick.
Well, at least you called me active. All right. Just our quote to start our day. Scouting is a game for youth under the leadership of youth, under the direction of an adult. Or age and college. Our February service project is we're still collecting books for Nigeria. So those of you that haven't gone through your basement boxes of books yet, you still have a couple of weeks to do that. We're especially looking for youth and young adult books. So if you have them, bring them here to the meeting and we will make sure that they get to the right place and eventually make their way to the library in Nigeria. There will be a club board meeting immediately following today's regular club meeting. And there will be a club foundation meeting after the club meeting on February 23rd. I've been notified by Bob Hill's family that they're directing memorials to Bob to the Rotary Club. So we should be looking for those, and we'll have to make a decision where we want to use those memorial funds. And with that, are there any other announcements for the club? All right. Well, now we'll have our Scout Troop 321 come up and make their presentation with us. This is the troop that our club sponsors, and it's been in existence since 1960. So it's one of the longest tenured troops in the Great Trail Council. And yesterday was the 112th anniversary of the Boy Scouts of America. So our timing is perfect for our program today.
Patrick, I was an original member of the club.
I wasn't gonna go there. Okay. Good morning, my name is Brian Craven, I'm the Scoutmaster for Troop 321 in Hudson. We live in the cabin right in the next square town, been there for many years. I was a scout leader for 9 years. My son, Brian, we share that. Our troop's SPL, that's senior patrol leader. Senior patrol leader is our main patrol leader. He actually runs our weekly troop meetings and he leads the patrols, once the troop. But there's only 7. Jason Bennett is approaching an Eagle Award next week, right? Which is very, very impressive people. Jackson Bennett, James Humble, and all of them are a few of our troop members as well. They're very active. They attend just about every event and meeting that we have all 5 of these guys here today. We'll go ahead and run through our presentation one across now, just so we can do a little bit more better conversation. All right. So, as mentioned, we're a very, very long-lived troop. It's activity for 100 years now. We're well on our way to continuing that as well. I'll do it. Yeah, go ahead. I'll give you that next one. Okay. Right, as mentioned, we've got 17 scouts broken out into our different ranks. We've got 2 scouts currently at light rank, which is the step before equal, 3 at the star, 2 second-class scouts, 6 tender, 4 scout. Recently, we really had a lot of opportunity for these guys to work on their requirements to advance. Over the last 2 years, it's been somewhat difficult for us to coordinate various different types of activities to help them meet their requirements. So it's been fairly challenging, and it's been very nice that we've had so many of our guys stick with it overall, the difficulty not meeting in person and not being able to get out and see some things the way we normally go about our activities. So, as mentioned, Jason is approaching his Eagle Award review, and I'm handing it off to him right now, so you can take just a moment to talk about that experience and his journey towards this milestone event.
Hi, I'm Jason Dement, and as Mr. Craven said, I'm having my Eagle Award review next week, which means I'm going to meet with a bunch of people on the Scout Council, and they're going to review my project and the different steps I took, and they're going to see if I'm qualified. So hopefully I am. We'll see. But I was going to originally start my Eagle Scout projects back in 2019, but a little thing called COVID happened, so I pushed it back a little bit, and then I remember I was on spring break in North Carolina, and it was April Fool's Day of the past year of 2021, and the prank I was pulling on my family was I wasn't going to speak a word to them the entire day for April Fool's Day. And I remember my mom coming to my room and being like, okay, this is the day, Jason, like you're gonna send your email to whoever you want to do your Eagle Scout project with, and we're gonna start it right now. And I didn't respond, obviously, but I thought to myself, like, who is the person I want to work with and give something to? And I thought the most important part of my community was the library. So I emailed Hudson Library, and after a while of waiting, they got back to me and they said they wanted a project where I could build a storage box for them for their outside patio right next to the children's section, because they had a garden every summer and they needed a place to put their tools and pots. So I thought, great, and I took this project and I spent many months revising the dimensions and like how I was going to do it. I originally planned to have like this tent roof, but I scrapped it. And then eventually in October, I built my project that had a lot of these scouts here coming to my house and help me. And I got all the paperwork done. I delivered it that month. So that was the final step I needed for my Eagle Scout, and I submitted it to the board, and now I'm at my board review, so it's been something I've been working on for a while, and I'm just glad that I'm finally here at the end. It's a great place to be.
Thank you, Jason. We're all very proud of Jason. He's put in a lot of work in the troop for many years now, and to watch him kind of reach this big goal in his journey has been, it's been special. So, again, thank you for the service that you have provided us as well. The big thing that really highlighted this year, I think, for me and also the guys, is really getting fully engaged in in-person activity again. We're looking back the whole year, and it's kind of hard to think about it sometimes, but, a year ago, we were much farther from normality than we are today. And one of the first things that we ended up doing collectively as we kind of came out of the second wave of things was to head over and check out some Norman Rockwell paintings that were over in Warren, PA. There's a collection, I think it was 67 paintings that he had related to scouting that they had on display there. It was really amazing to see that. So we'll talk about that a little bit more. We put some effort into cabin maintenance. That's been long overdue. So we participated quite a bit in some things for bringing it up to fire code, as well as just some day-to-day type things that get overlooked since we stopped by periodically. We're not living in it every day. So, we think, oh, we'll come to that later. No, it's time. So, so we've taken care of a few things. And I'm really focusing in on camping and backpacking. We had a lot of guys that had come into the troop, about half our membership came in right before or during the pandemic, and we had not really gotten them through a lot of out and about experience, and working, cooking in the field, patrol method, and those types of things. And it's been good to have an opportunity to really re-engage in that stuff. So we're really starting to move through those requirements now. So our year. Monthly program themes have been cooking, fishing, first aid, scout requirements, as I mentioned. We're really revisiting those quite a bit in the current state. They worked on the game design merit badge, basketry, which I thought was really interesting how engaged they all got weaving baskets. It's stunning. It's room filled with silent boys weaving baskets. Citizenship in the nation, environmental science, and they're currently working on snowstorms. I dropped a couple pictures in here just so we could, see what this is typical meeting activity that we have. On the left, we've got some guys that are talking through some requirements. Center picture is we do a roses, buds, and thorns after all of the events and outings that we have. So the guys talk about the things that went well, the opportunities for improvement, and some things that didn't quite go so well. But there's not much we could have done in the moment, but perhaps in the future we can look for preventative measures to avoid things that we don't like. And then the next image over was some preparation that we had while we were talking about some maintenance items that we were going to be doing. You can see it's actually a really nice place for us to meet. It has a very scouty vibe. All the flag ribbons from many years gone by hanging on the rafters kind of give a connection through time. So it's a really nice thing to have available. With that, I'll hand this off to Brian. Brian will talk through some of these monthly events that we have. Here you go.
All right, so this year is from when we went to see the Norman Rockwell paintings. This is obviously a really cool thing because we see like these paintings all the time in Scouts, and I think like almost the entire troop went to go see it. You see, Jason was there, Colin was there, yeah. So it was a lot of fun going to see these paintings we had seen on popcorn tins and stuff. So that was cool. This year we went to camp in Camp Butler. This backpack? No. So yeah. So these events that we do are all planned by us. So if we want to do an event, we typically do one camp out kind of thing a month. Every time it's organized by a troop member. So, during the meetings, I'll ask someone if they want to volunteer to plan one of these events. Here we have one of our scouts, Anthony. I think he might have planned this one, I'm not sure. But, it's always planned by us, and that's a really good way to improve our skills with that kind of thing. This is a court of honor. This is a ceremony we have where once you do all the requirements for your rank and you have your board review and they see that you're fit to be that rank, we have a ceremony where we typically have like a dinner or something, and then we'll hand out the awards, and that's always a lot of fun to do because it's a nice way to kind of see what everyone's got to do with their scouting efforts. Okay, so this is when we went fishing at Hudson Springs. We were doing the fishing merit badge at the time. So obviously fishing is a lot of fun and it's a very scouting thing to do. I got my fishing merit badge and I think some other guys did as well. We spent like a good 2 hours there fishing, so that was a lot of fun to do. Do you guys want to say anything about it? This one, we did our new scout camp out at Camp Manitowoc. So we always have, when we get some new scouts, we always have a new scout camp out. This one we had an axe yard and we chopped up wood for our fire, so that was a lot of fun. So this is also another camp out where we have a very large percentage of our troop come. So you see on the left there, that's almost everybody in our troop. There's people that aren't in Brain that like because if we do like a 3-day camp out, then we'll have people go to like sporting events or something that they have, and so people will leave and come back, and it's a whole lot of fun to kind of spend your weekend out in the woods. Here we have our flower sale. Every year we have our flower sale to kind of fundraise and do our things. So we always have a day on Friday where we unload all the flowers off the truck, and the entire like front yard of the cabin's like covered in flowers, and we load them up on the cars and deliver them to people that order flowers. So that's always a good thing to do to kind of keep ourselves active and making sure like our activities are able to happen. So here we have our backpacking trip we did at Manitowoc. I think it's me there. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, it was like needed some water. So here we have us getting ready to start our hike there. Our tents down there. Backpacking is always really fun because you've got your 23-pound bag and you've got to go on a big hike, and it's pretty tiring, but it's a lot of fun when you're done and you're at the fire, and it's a lot of fun.
So this summer, Jason had another opportunity. The year prior, the treks to Philmont were canceled. So we had a few guys that really missed a great chance to do something amazing. Jason seized on the opportunity this year to get out to Philmont. So let's let him take a moment to talk about that.
Yeah, so I had the absolute blessing of an opportunity to go to Philmont. I think it's one of the most meaningful experiences I've ever had as a scout. I was supposed to go in 2020, but it got canceled for COVID, and I was just absolutely devastated. And I was talking and we were getting all our refunds, and I was talking with my dad, and I'm like, I still really want to go, and I still want to have this experience. So we linked up with a different troop. We linked up with troop 333, and it's a backpacking trip in New Mexico, and it's 12 days, and you have all your stuff on your back for 12 days, and that might sound like hell for a bunch of people, but it was fun for me. And you're out in like the mountains mountains and there's beautiful landscapes and you just really get the bond with your group and you just like, it feels like a family to you. And when it comes with the families, arguments, there's hard times, but you get through them and at the end of the day, you end that trail and it really hits you. I'm gonna share one experience that I had was, going up Mount Baldy, which is probably one of the best things I've ever gone through. I remember I was reaching to the top and my dad was waiting for me. He was ahead, he was the faster one. And he was standing there and he was like, I want to go to the top with you. I want to have this experience with you. So we both made the final steps to the peak of the mountain and I just looked over the landscape and I think it's the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen in my life. Like it's one of those things that like is just so like beautiful and like powerful to you that like you want to tell everyone about. And I was just like looking out and I just like couldn't believe it. And I was like trying to call people. I was like, I was so excited. And it just really hit me that like, this is what Scouts has led me to, like these awesome experiences that I could go on and attend are just like 99% of people aren't gonna be able to do something like this, but I have. And it's just very meaningful to me. And it's the best experience I've had with Scouts is going on Belmont.
I saw some other pictures, obviously we could only include so much for the sake of the slide, but I mean, it is a stunning place to see. And, you know, I haven't been there myself. It seems to just be a breathtaking thing that's available to these Scouts. It's life changing. Everybody that I've known that's gone and participated in that, it's been different for them afterwards.
All right, so here we have our summer camp, and this for me is my favorite part of the entire year, where we go and we spend, I think it's about a week at Camp Manitowoc, I think it's in Peninsula. And here on the left, we have us marching into the parade field for retreat, and that's a lot of fun. I get to call cadence for us marching. There we have our neckerchiefs we had for summer camp. And then we have this shelter over here made by Jackson. Do you want to talk about the shelter?
So for Women's Survival Merit Badge, one of our requirements was to build a shelter and sleep in for one night. So me and Colin we built that shelter and slept in it.
And so part of summer camp is oh, are these more pictures? Okay. Yeah, so another part of summer camp that's really great is that we get to earn a lot of merit badges that we probably wouldn't be able to do otherwise. I did one called SpaceX where we built model rockets and got to launch them off. That was really fun. And shotgun shooting. I don't know where I would have been able to do that other than here, but it's always a great opportunity for us to get more merit badges and do some great advancements. Here we have on the top left, we have our camp. There we have us getting ready to go out about lunchtime to do more merit badges. And then on the far right, we have us at lunchtime eating our food. So some more pictures. And so here's us in line marching by the flag. There's Jackson, James, and Parker at dinner, and then there's us at nighttime by the fire. So it's always a lot of fun to spend like a week with these guys, and it's a great opportunity to get to know them. And so here's our cookout. This is the first kind of thing we had in the new school year. So here on the left, my group, we're making little sliders. We've got Kai there making some bacon. The rest of us are kind of helping out in the middle there, we have Luke making some donuts and a Dutch oven there. And then we have James and Anthony making some omelets up there. So that's always nice to kind of cook more with our equipment that we have. And then here we have just a normal camp out we had in September. This was one week, we kind of just hung out and played a lot of football and football there. You can see us there playing football there. And so that's a lot of fun. I think that's Jackson making some ramen noodles. So it's always a lot of fun to kind of do that kind of thing and just hang out and play football and whatever with you guys. And here we did our basket merit badge. We had a merit badge counselor come in October and we bought a bunch of supplies and stuff to make baskets, and we gathered the whole troop around, almost the whole troop around this table, and we just made baskets for like 2 minutes. And it was a lot of fun because I probably wouldn't have done basketry or anything like it without scouts, and that was a really nice thing to do.
So I have to interrupt just a moment because this is a scene that's just, I don't know what to say about it. I've never seen them be able to sit around a table like this and not do anything but the actual task at hand. It was amazing.
So another thing we did in October, we had a bunch of trees and shrubs and bushes and stuff that we had along the side of the cabin here that we had to clean up. And so one morning for about an hour, we came out and we just cut up all the bushes and shrubs and weeds and whatever. We cleared all that out, and now we have a nice little area where we can put a garden or something in the future for an American or something. And then we also stained the window frames because they were just like a plain wood color, so we wanted to stain those to match the rest of the cabin. So that was nice. We also organized a bunch of the logs of wood that we had out front, and then we have, I think, Tate over there staining the window. So here we have the haunted house camp out we did in October. Here we stayed at Manitowoc again, and we camped out, I think, it was one, right? Yeah, so it was on Halloween, and we went to the haunted house in Hudson as a little field trip kind of thing. And that was a lot of fun because I'd never been there. Here we have our fire and our campsite there. So I think one of our guys, Henry, stayed in one of the Adirondacks there. So it was a cool opportunities. And then here's Jackson to talk about his kind of achievement.
So one of the things that I earned is when I probably did, it's a religious award that you get by like filling out a book and like stuff. So here's me with some other people that also earned it.
Our early days of religious focus achievements, there's a series of different items that the scout works through in order to complete that activity. So here's a winner.
Okay, so here we have our winter feast here, and for the winter feast, we typically rent a much nicer cabin kind of thing. So it's much more relaxed, and it's kind of a break from the typical scout go camping outside. Here we just kind of hung out. We watched a movie there. We're all sitting around the projector and whatever. Here on the right, we have, we're eating dinner. So it's a nice cabin. We have like a nice kitchen, and the adults cook for us for a change because we normally make our own food at the campouts. So I know this is another big attendance event. All the way on the left, Santa Hat. I think Palm's in there as well, James, I think. And so it's a lot of fun. Here we have our frozen camp out that we just did at Stanbach. We rented out a cabin, I think it's about an hour east of here. And here we have Colin Jackson, Henry and me sitting on the left there at my bunk. And then we have our stove. And I think it got to be -1 degrees outside, so it was pretty cool. But we were okay with that. And then yeah, and so we play a lot of football in the snow, and that's always fun. It's got a nice like padding court, so nobody gets hurt. And on the bottom there, we have everyone that went on the sitting on the bus there. So it was nice to kind of hang out with you guys, and we did a lot of better cooking. So typically we do like hot dogs and whatever. It's typically like really easy, but this time we made like corned beef hash and soup, and we made spaghetti and meatballs with our equipment. So it was better food this time, and it was pretty nice. And then so here in February, we have been working on the Snow Sports America. There's me on the ground being a victim for a first aid demonstration. So that was pretty that was something. So we're going to go skiing in a couple of weeks, and that's going to be a lot of fun. So we have any more slides for that?
Things that we've completed so far. So skiing, yes, is coming up. Indoor rock climbing and the cliffs. We're looking to go caving towards the end of April. So we're really starting to get able to get back out and do the normal things that we like to typically do. It's been a great year, kind of recovering, getting back into things, getting the scouts and requirements. As an adult leader, it's certainly nice to be able to do the regular activities. I really enjoy being a leader for scouts. As I mentioned, I've been doing it for a little while. When I first got into it, the Cub Scouts, I wasn't sure really what it was, right? So as I learned what that was and how it's engaging, one of the things I realized was my kids, the amount of time that I spend doing memorable things, it goes from very little. Like if you really think about the grand scheme, it's such a low percentage of the time of your life. Well, I have 90 days a year right now that I'm committed to scout activities. So when I think about what a percentage of the year that is, that's 25%, right? So 25% of my time I get to spend doing things that is creating a lasting memory with my kids. I really appreciate that. It's let me see them differently. I can watch them grow differently. The program helps kids develop into people that are leaders. When I see people like Brian and Jason and these guys here up in front of us and the past Eagle Scouts that we've had in the troop, it's amazing to see what they're like relative to their peers. They're an entire order of magnitude farther along in life by the time they get the Star or the Life Scout, Eagle Scout. It's just amazing to see what those kids are like. So I'm grateful that the program exists, that we have such a nice, thriving one in Hudson, and that we have such a great group of scouts that have chosen to participate with us. I'll open it now. If anybody has any questions they'd like to ask, I assume boys.
Stop for a second.
Not sure. So we'll just do that. We'll introduce each one of these guys. Say who you are, your age.
So I'm Brian, and I'm the STL, 15 years old, and I'm a Star Scout, and I've been doing scouting since I was in first grade. And now I'm in ninth grade, so that's something.
I'm Jason Deman. I'm 15. I'm a sophomore in high school. I've been doing Boy Scouts since 5th grade, so 6 years, and I've been in scouting in general since first grade, Tiger Scout. So it's been awesome. I have my Life Scout and Almost Eagle locally, and yeah, I'm den chief, so I work with the Cub Scouts a lot.
I'm Jackson Battaglia. I'm 13 years old. I'm in 7th grade, and I started in Scouts at 2nd grade, I think. So, yeah, it's been a lot, and it's been really fun. I had a great time.
So I'm James Hummel. I'm 13. I've been in Scouts since I was in 1st grade, and I'm currently a tenderfoot and working towards 2nd class.
I'm Cole Craven and I'm 12 and I'm in Scouts since 1st grade. 7 or 6 years. Scout rank.
To address the kids, if I could, you guys are creating memories that you're going to have and experiences you're going to have to share the rest of your lifetime. How many of you ever have heard of the name Burton Morgan? Raise your hand. Okay, this is an experience for you then. I was fortunate to have been a neighbor of Bert for about 30 years. Bert was a member of this club. He often talked about his experiences in scouting. He's very proud of those. Very successful individual. But his foundation that he left in town, it's called the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, has a collection of Norman Rockwell pictures of experiences of scouts. And I'd really encourage you to go over there and perhaps maybe arrange a meeting with the executive director of the Morgan Foundation. Perhaps maybe you guys can go over and visit, take a look at the pictures. And many of these pictures are portraits of what Bert experienced as a scout. And he attributes much of his success in his lifetime to his period as a scout person, and had a wonderful experience. So if you get a chance, go over there and talk to him. I think you'd really enjoy seeing the pictures. There's one picture there of a scout. I think it's a scout. All of them are about his experiences with scouts, but there's one of a boy standing about your age, standing on a high diving board and determining whether he's going to make that jump. And if you know Bert took the jump many times in his lifetime. And I have to think that this was Bert's expression of saying, this is what experiences when you take that jump in lifetime and take a risk. And it's a wonderful thing for you to do. So if you go over there and talk to the folks at the Morgan Foundation, I think the kids would really enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Quick question for either you or the boys, and thank you once again for coming. You mentioned something about a fish merit badge earlier. What do you have to do to get, is there a certain number of fish you got to catch? Or is there a certain amount of pounds it has to be? Or you just have to throw your line in there and spend 2 hours?
First, when we do merit badge, we typically have like a classroom kind of setting in the cabin where we kind of learn about like different types of fishing rods and how to tie like your line, things like that. So we learn how to do everything well first, and then we'll go through the list of requirements in that classroom kind of setting. And then when we're ready, we'll go out and we'll do an event like the 2-hour fishing event that we did. And the 2 requirements have been for to catch a fish and to cook a fish and eat it. So there wasn't a whole lot of fishing involved, but I think it's assumed that you're not going to be able to catch a fish. So.
Any other questions?
He's got an agenda.
As an Almost Eagle Scout, what was your favorite merit badge you had to do to get your minimum of your 21 merit badges done? And what was your least favorite merit badge you had to work on?
Well, my favorite would probably have to be life saving, which is like in the pool. So you're doing like saves, you're learning how to you're doing like escapes from like people trying to drag you down. It's a really fun merit badge, and it's a choice because you either do that or emergency preparedness, which is like the most boring merit badge of all time. So you get So you get either the most fun merit badge or the most boring. And so if you're good at swimming, you usually do the fun one. And my least favorite one has to be a tie between cooking and citizenship in the community. Cooking because it's a 40-page packet and you just fill out the packet and you make like 9 different meals and it's just very, very time consuming. And citizenship in the community was just I had to put a lot of effort into that one. So you had to go to like a board meeting, you had to write a bunch of people, you had to fill out a huge packet. So it's just putting in that extra effort, but that's why we get to these places.
I think you'll notice the huge packet was a factor.
Hey, Brian, I just wanted to acknowledge a couple of gentlemen in the back of the room here who are, I don't believe they're at Hudson Middle School or Hudson High School, but they are wearing scouting uniforms. So dads?
Yes, we do have a couple dads, so Jason's father, David Matson, in the back, who's one of our committee members.
Yeah.
And then we also have Brian Tagliam, who is Jackson's father. He's our assistant scoutmaster. He also leads some of our merit badges for us. And we're glad to have both of these guys active in our unit. Dave covers a lot of behind the scenes work that needs to be done. And Brian helps cover the youth facing aspect of me quite well. So again, very appreciative to have these guys with us. See back there in the corner? There they are. Yay.
And I would just like to thank you guys for the wonderful job you do with the flowers, the hanging baskets for Mother's Day. So my mom has been president of her local garden club. She's like a lifetime member. And I can get her flowers from no other place now because she knows if I didn't get them from the Boy Scouts, they are by far the nicest, fullest baskets. And I like to put them 2 on my front porch hanging every year too. And also Scouts, your service is wonderful. You always help me take them to the car. You carry them around. So thank you. That's something I look forward to every year.
Thank you. That is our main fundraiser for our year. This past year was the best year that we've had at it. In fact, it seemed like pandemic has actually boosted that for us, which is quite nice. But it is a community staple. People always inquire with us about whether we're doing it again, remark about the quality and the consistency of it. So thank you for saying something. Any other questions? Again, boys, thank you for coming up. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. And so July 4th, 2016 was the day I summited Baldwin Mountain. So I was lucky to be able to do it on July 4th, so I could always remember that. It's pretty easy to remember that day, but I had an opportunity to do that with my son too. And it was a memorable experience. And every July 4th, we don't talk about, before we talk about fireworks, we always talk about that day that we climbed up the mountain and Baldy. It's kind of a unique experience because you take 3 steps forward and you slide back 2. So you're making progress, but it's a steady process, slow process there. Is it? Hey, great. Zach, you don't want to slide back more than what you started. All right, for our roundabout raffle, I think we'll have our scoutmaster here pick our winning number for our roundabout raffle. Thank you. And our winning number is 717169. 717169.
Got it. How about it?
All right.
How about it? $200.
So Bill, the winning payout is $8. The jackpot is up to $358. There's a black marble still in there. We trust you. Is it the truth? Yeah. Oh, not the black marble. So the pot will continue to grow until next week. One of the questions I always get in Scouts is how are girls being integrated into the Scouts PSA program? And for the first time this past summer at Camp Manipac, every summer as you saw the Scouts are in formation and they have to report in. And the camp program director asked them, are all your Scouts there? And for 97 years, the appropriate answer was, yes, sir. This past summer, the answer changed. It was, yes, ma'am. And so we had our first female program director at Camp Manipac this past summer. And I just happened to be, she just graduated in December from UW Stout with a degree in graphic arts, multimedia, and started her first full-time job on Monday with my daughter. So yes, girls are integrating and getting in more involved in the program and taking on greater and greater leadership roles and opportunities for that. So it's great that the program is integrated that way. And it wouldn't be our regular meeting. Lost my joke. I know you're getting devastated by that. Oh, there it is. Okay. Is it? Yeah. Why did the tomato blush? Saw the salad dressing.
Oh.